driving around town, working hard, listening on 93.3. Thanks for doing that too. Appreciate you as well. What is today's date? The 13th?
That is correct.
We got 15 more days of Portal loving.
Such good loving.
15 more days. I bring that up because invariably patience wears thin when you're following, rooting for, loving, angered by, embracing 2-10 with your favorite club. You want to see change and you want to see it now. You want the names. You want to know that there is concrete evidence things will be better.
Well, just as a reminder, that's the deadline to enter the portal. I don't like that. We got to switch that on the screen.
Flippity-doo.
That is the deadline to enter the portal. Truthfully speaking, when it comes to committing to a school, as long as you can do it before ad drop is over. So you could have some guys that have not made their decisions by New Year's, but as long as they're here before ad drop ends for Florida State spring semester, you're in the clear there. And also, there is a dispensation of a week, I think it is. I forget how many days. If you're in the playoff and you go the distance or you go a certain amount of time, you're given a grace period. You don't have to enter by the 28th if you're in the semifinals or the finals. You can wait until your season is over. So there's always those things to consider. Also, if one high-profile coach decides to take it on to the NFL like Harbaugh did last year after winning the Natty, that opens up a 30-day window. So for a small percentage of portal candidates, this thing's going to continue well into next month. But usually what you need is your answers by the time spring semester starts for you. Miami's starts later than us. That's why the Cam Ward situation, they can sit back and just wait.
You remember the saga with Julian Sayin, who had committed to Alabama. The day he started classes at Alabama, Nick Saban retired. He had to be like, well, son of a bitch. He ended up at Ohio State, but he would have been given a grace period in the moment.
We understand.
Yeah.
That's, there's a few things where the portal gets things right, a few rules, and that's one of them.
Good article. I mean, it's worth your time, I think. Speaking of portal and players and quarterbacks, The Athletic, Antonio Morales wrote a piece on Luke Kromenhoek in the transfer portal and about how his dad, John Kromenhoek, was, obviously emotional about this. He's upset. He's not, I don't know that he's mad at Florida State. He's just upset in general because they went on a ton of trips to visit a lot of schools. I think upwards of like 50 trips. They went to Georgia a few times. They went to Alabama. They went to a bunch of places, all right? And 20 trips to Florida State. 2 to Alabama, 3 to Georgia, 20 to Florida State. Every time they were visiting Florida State, they were feeling more and more comfortable about Florida State. And the reason is they were looking for stability. How's that for modern football? They were looking for stability. They wanted to see a place that they thought, all right, you'll never have to go into the portal here. You're in good shape here. This is a system that fits you. We really like Mike Norvell. He just came off of back-to-back double-digit win seasons. When they first started looking at Florida State, they had the 10-win season. And he was like, all right, that's good because we like them and we want to – he needs to do well. He wasn't going to go to a program that was flailing. So he's like, that's good. There he goes. He's got it going. And then the next year we won 13 games. He's like, all right, there's the stability we needed. It took him a while, but he's got it turned around. They're good. That's a good system for you. We like that man. We like the staff that we met. Florida State's going to be our school. That way we can avoid being in the portal. Because in their experience, other quarterbacks that have been in the portal hated it. They didn't like feeling as if they were out in the middle of the ocean waiting for some boat to pull up and ask them to come on board. They didn't want a situation like that. But alas, Florida State went from winning 13 games to winning 2. Firing coaches and bringing in a brand new coach to run a brand new system.
It is. And the one thing I want to press back on, though, is what was the vision for this year's offense? It was to be able to run the football behind an offensive line that was the best he's had and then use speed demons for play action over the top.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that the kind of thing that we want to run next year too? Now you've got taller weapons that you've brought in.
Yeah, but he's going to run the hell out of the quarterback.
So Luke doesn't want to run.
I wouldn't. I think he wants to run a professional system. And Mike, that's the thing. Mike comes from the tree, but he incorporated a lot more pro-style stuff than what is traditionally Gus Malzahn's offense.
Then if it's that he does not want to run himself, then okay, go for it. But if it's, this woe is me, it's a new system, I'm like, well, it's a lot of the same principles. There's a lot of the same principles here. And look, given what Luke is right now as a player, actually, Gus's system is better for him than a pro-style system because he doesn't have what it takes to be a pro-style quarterback yet.
Yeah, and he wants to be groomed to that end, and I think that certainly he thought that that's what was going to happen. Also, when you fire coaches, that impacts you personally. I mean, especially if you had good relationships with some of those coaches and you thought that you were going to be working with those guys. I mean, I don't know.
Was it Atkins?
I have no
idea.
Good
relationship with Atkins?
No, I have no idea. But when you bring in another coach and he brings in a transfer portal quarterback, I get it.
Wouldn't you look at your tape and say, I'm not ready? Or does he not think that way? You can't think that way if you're a high-profile quarterback. Because if I looked at my tape, I'd say, get rid of the ball. Oh, my God, why am I not getting rid of the ball, coach?
Well, and the truth of the matter, though, is, Tom, even if he did, he might be willing to sit a year.
Yeah.
This kid can play 2. If Thomas Castellanos wants to, he can be here for 2 years. I'm not sitting 2 more years if I don't have to.
No, agreed.
And if somebody calls me and says, we got a spot for you now, we like you, we're going to let you compete for the job, you'd probably listen to that, especially if it pays more too.
Right. Mississippi State might.
I don't think I'd want to play at Mississippi State. Then again, I've never met their coach. I haven't had conversations with them about the possibility of me starting or whatever it might be. But bottom line is, I'm not mad at anybody here. I'm not mad at Mike in Florida State for moving on from Kromenhoek after just 1 season. I'm not mad at Luke Kromenhoek for deciding to leave after that happened, after this season just occurred and changes have been made and a transfer portal quarterback has come in, one who could potentially be the starter for the next 2 seasons. I'm not mad at him for leaving. There's nobody to be mad at. I'm not mad at the Kromenhoeks. I'm not mad at FSU. I'm mad at FSU for going 2-10.
Yeah,
but other than that,
what I would say is just don't try the narrative that it's the system. I'm like, I don't know, man. That's an oversimplification of the issue. It's system plus money. I'm sure that has to be the combination of the truth
and the kid coming in.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I would say. It's probably more that you brought somebody in who has the potential to be here for 2 years. And I don't probably really feel that great about your system. Maybe he doesn't like Gus Malzahn. I don't know.
It could be a personality clash too. There could be that. I didn't like that meeting. Fair.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I'm not playing, violins for a guy who you could have stayed and made $500,000 or I don't know, maybe it was $300K, whatever. But you're going to be making 6 figures to stay here and be groomed. That's a nice option to have to say no to. It's much like when a coach gets fired, you say, well, they're handsomely paid. Yeah, I'm not going to, weep for him entering the portal. You wish him well.
Yeah.
But it's not, this is such a sad ending to the story. Hey, man, he could have stayed here and been paid very, very well to have a crack at being better than Thomas Castellanos.
I'm not saying I'm sitting around like boo-hooing or forlorn. I just
if there's a story that's like, it's not a terrible situation. You're in an awesome situation.
It's a terrible situation if you really thought what you had was stability and that was what you were seeking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there is no sure thing. So, that's part of it.
That's what the money's for these days.
Yeah. That's there you go. But that does suck. I mean, I think there were a lot of kids last year who were in shock. I mean, everybody had to have been. The head coach was in shock. You saw it washed all over his face every time the camera panned over. He looked like a guy that was shell-shocked. It came crashing down in a hurry.
The good news is I don't think you're paying your backup what you were going to pay Kromenhoek.
No.
So that should be
save a little bit of money.
Go get me another alignment with that cash. I would rather it be considered that way. Mike just goes to the dais and said, well, we needed somebody to win now. I hate losing him. But you know what? The bright side of it is I'm going to introduce you to our new interior offensive lineman from Arkansas.
Yeah.
Without his departure, this wasn't possible, guys. So we really want to thank Luke.
Well, at the end of the day, I guarantee you, Mike feels terrible about what happened. I mean, with the Kromenhoeks. He convinced them that they had a lot of meetings. He came here 20 times. So Mike was, selling the program, selling his offense, selling what he could do and be in that offense. He feels terrible about what happened, but I think he understands it. But more importantly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The reality of your circumstances are that you have to win and win now, and you know it, and you screwed this up, and you can wallow in that, or you can get on with the getting. And you have no choice at this point. He didn't, I don't know this, but I doubt it, just because this is the way a lot of coaches are. I doubt he wanted to fire anybody. That might disturb people to hear. They might be like, wait, what? I doubt he wanted to fire anybody. I wonder if left to his own devices whether or not he would have fired anybody. Maybe one. Maybe one.
Look, man, Michael Alford didn't want to leave the ACC. So anything's possible with what we want. And the one thing I'm here for in terms of dysfunction and a lack of communication is, did he not know we were going to the portal, Luke? Did he not understand that when we're 2-10 and he's no good? Like when they're grading out film on a Tuesday and you can see that I suck. Now I can get better and I've got raw tools and I'm not supposed to be good. I'm a true freshman.
True freshman behind a terrible offensive line and no receivers.
But did he not know that? Because why do you get to 5 games and burn a year of eligibility? Like that makes no sense to me.
Well, you could also argue that he was loyal. They needed him and he said, fine, I'll blow past the 4 games if you need me to. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he obviously did it.
If we're thinking about bigger picture though, somebody along those lines didn't reach the logical conclusion about his future. Well, somebody didn't.
This is where I would be very interested to hear from both sides in after they've taken truth serum.
Right.
I'd love to hear what Mike has to say about that, because it was Mike who I'm sure asked Luke Kromenhoek to go ahead and play more than those 4 games.
And to his credit,
and made him a starter.
And to his credit, before they ever got there, before they ever got in that situation, Luke said, I'll play more than 4, whatever the team needs.
Whatever the team needs, is right.
Right. But either his handler or somebody on the coaching staff didn't look at the big picture and say, hey, do you think you'd want that redshirt year if we're not going to start you next year? Because we're not. I need to not get fired, and you're not good enough. So, what do we want to do?
I don't have time to wait for you to get good enough is the proper way to say that. You could be great. You may end up being great, but I don't have time to wait.
You're not starting against Bama.
No.
I'm not doing that. So let's talk, because, Brock here has already burned a shirt. So, or has already used his shirt.
Already used his shirt,
the better term. So we could play him instead. What do you think, Luke? I mean, that might have been a decent conversation. Or his dad to come in and ask that of the coaching staff.
They may have had it. I have no idea. Now, that I can't speak to at all. I don't know what kind of conversations they had. I don't know what Mike said and didn't say. I don't know what the Kromenhoeks said.
Of course.
Yeah, but none of us do.
Now, if they said, the Kromenhoeks, well, we don't care, I would say as his representation,
that's a mistake.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
you don't care.
You would have said that. Don't do that.
You want to burn a year of eligibility for this?
Yeah.
Boy, 2-10 is awful.
2-10 is awful. It leads to this kind of stuff. And I'm not, I saw where many in our fan base, see, I think what people in our fan base are angry about beyond the obvious, which is going 2-10, which is asking yourself over and over again and saying out loud, how the hell do you go 2-10 at Florida State? You have to really F things up to go 2-10 at Florida State. It should be nearly impossible for that to be the floor. In fact, we thought the floor could never be 2-10. That Florida State was so far beyond ever going something like 2-10.
One FBS win by 5 points.
Right. And a kid who missed a couple of field goals and some red zone misses. And
it was a Power 4 win.
But big ACC victory is what that was,
right.
Sir.
Undefeated against Cal.
Yeah. But we never thought that possible, but it happened. All right. So you move on, and that's where it's at. But I think what people are mad about has less to do with specifically Luke Kromenhoek. It's what Luke Kromenhoek represents, which is Mike's repeated failures in recruiting quarterbacks and then developing them and having success with the people that he's brought in here. He has failed miserably, and that concerns people.
Yeah. It's like Miami's ACC football championship trophy case.
Right? Just empty. No examples.
Nothing there.
Nothing to point to.
Yep.
Nothing that you can beat your chest about.
Yep. Lene Kakua's bed. Nobody
there it is. Nobody lying in it.
Nope.
Doesn't exist. There's been no embrace.
Not even of a pillow.
I didn't get to the picks yesterday. I'll get to the picks today. Feel like we got another crop of winners, which means I have to warn you, look out, could be bad. When I feel this good about picks, sometimes I get a little nervous. But we had a banner week last week. 8-2, better than that in my personal life. It was a good weekend.
Documented,
as Lee would say, and it was. Of the 10 picks that I made on the air, There were 8 bona fide winners. It's stupid ass. What's his face in Dallas is the one that screwed me on Monday night. The whole world throws for 1,000 yards against Cincinnati. He can't throw for 220.
It's Cooper Rush.
Bum. Whole franchise bums. Year in and year out.
Decade in and decade out.
That's unfair a little bit, though. I think they won 12 games last year, 12 the year before that. So, but yeah, I mean.
Oh, yeah, for Jerry, very successful year. That's a good year for modern Jerry.
It's the Jeff Cameron Show. Libations Friday. 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Homeowners. This is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, and I want to talk to you today about consolidating your debt. Are you struggling with your monthly expenses? Consumer spending and overall debt are reaching all-time highs, while homeowners are sitting on trillions of dollars in untapped equity in their homes. Don't be afraid to walk away from that 2% mortgage while you're paying double-digit interest rates on credit cards and lines of credit and drowning in debt. Let's talk about how we can consolidate your debt, lower your overall monthly payments, and potentially save you thousands of dollars in the process. Give me a call at 954-369-6171. Again, 954-369-6171. This is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, and I'm at 954-369-6171.
Equal housing NMLS 373031.
This is Alex from Falmers. We know that you want to get the most value for the money you spend this holiday season. That's why we're discounting all of our gold and silver jewelry by 50%. All diamond earrings, pendants, and charms. Popular items like gold chains and necklaces. Even all wedding sets and engagement rings are discounted by 50%. At Falmers, we make your dollars go further. Shop early for the best selection, and don't forget to ask about our great layaway plan. Falmers, 2 times more than you might expect with 2 great locations. As you probably know, Falmers buys, sells, and loans on just about anything of value. What you might not know is that when you buy something from us, we guarantee the total satisfaction of your purchase. Buy it, take it home, and if for any reason you decide you don't want it within 7 days, Falmers will give you 100% of your money back. And if you decide you don't want the item within 30 days, Falmers will let you exchange it for something you do want. At Falmers, we guarantee you're going to be happy with your purchase or we'll buy it back. Falmers, check cashing, pawn service, and sales. 2 times more than you might expect with 2 great locations.
Honey, I'm home.
We're in here, honey.
So why are all my friends here?
Have a seat, Dave. We need to talk about your problem.
Problem? I don't have a problem.
Dave, you do have a problem. A problem with your grill. Here's some pamphlets from Hearth and Patio. They are waiting for your call to help you upgrade your grill.
If you or someone you know needs a grilling intervention, call Hearth and Patio today at 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282 or hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
Dream it, plan it, do it. Brian Barnard's Flooring America offers a straightforward way to shop with our streamlined shopping.
Finding the right flooring is simple. Visit our newly remodeled showroom featuring the Room to Explore shopping experience, where our knowledgeable staff will walk you through the steps.
Our family has been serving the area since 1976 with a local staff of more than 35 people trained in flooring sales and design. We know floors
and we know styles. Let us help make your home timeless.
Brian Barnard's Flooring America, where friends send friends.
Hey, everybody, it's Ed Dean along with Roger Henderson, also with FloridaDaily.com. Just want to remind you, daily 4 to 6 in the afternoons right here in Tallahassee on Real Talk 93.3 FM. Roger, it is literally the 2 fastest hours anywhere in afternoon talk radio.
And if you think the country's going crazy, we'll help you make sense of it all.
Oh, yeah, we'll try to make some sense of it. Again, Monday through Friday in the afternoons, Ed Dean, Roger Henderson on 93.3.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50. For those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
By the way, somebody I saw it flash before my eyes as we were doing the last segment, and I think it was early in the chat, and I didn't get to it, and it's probably too far back for me to find now. No, it's not. There it is. It was Kyle. Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate you asking about my son. He's doing well. Thank you. Surgery went well. I have said this, but for those that missed it and have asked, surgery went really well. They connected the abductor longus tendon, which connects to your pelvis, back again. Buddy, when I talked to the doctor about the procedure, Tom, and then he showed me what it looks like, you're sitting there talking to a doctor and you're grabbing your stuff.
And how did he do it on the field again?
It was a kick return.
Was it a move or a tackle? He was pinned, or
no? It was a great kick return. I thought he was gone. It was like a 50-yard kick return. It happened at about midfield. He had one more guy to beat, but the guy had the angle, so he put his foot in the ground to try to cut back to the right. And there was a trailer coming up, and he had got his shoulder pad as he was going by and tried to kind of pulled him.
Okay.
He stayed on his feet.
So it wasn't non-contact.
No, not really. We don't know. He doesn't know specifically exactly the exact moment that the tendon ripped from the pelvis. He said that he was concentrating on keeping his balance because the guy in front of him was who he was worried about, not the guy who had kind of scraped his shoulder pad and got him off kilter, but he stayed on his feet. But then that guy was able to come in and tackle him. And he said, as he was going to the ground, he realized, like, that's a burning sensation. That's a hot fire down there.
Ooh.
That's a toughie.
No.
And I give him credit. I told him he's tough. I was proud of him. He got up, but Bryce doesn't play with he doesn't show outward emotion all that often. Like the angriest you'll ever see him, if he drops a pass or something happens where he feels like he should have made a guy miss after a catch or something and he doesn't, you might see him like clap his hands or something like that. But that's about the extent of the emotion you see from him while playing, good or bad. Even when he scores, he doesn't, Do
you like that he's stoic?
Yeah, as a receiver, I do. If you played defense, I don't think you could. No, I wouldn't like that. But he doesn't play defense. But anyhow, no, I do like that. Like,
because you're a colorful guy.
Yeah, he can be too. But no, he's very analytical about things during a game. He's thinking about what they're doing and what he's trying to do and what he needs to do. And anyhow. But I knew that this was bad because he slapped the ground before he got up, like slapped the ground like he was angry. And I thought he was angry that he got tackled because he was one man to beat. He thought, I'm gone. But then he was like, I could see him testing the leg, like trying to see. And then I saw him kind of hobble and wince. And I was like, ooh, I thought it was like his ankle or something. But when he got to the sideline, I could see he was a little concerned. And then he tried to go back and forth, and I was watching. I'm not the kind of dad that goes down and yells stuff at him or to my boys when they're playing sports. I don't go out there and say, hey, do this or do that or whatever.
You don't stand next to the head coach chewing gum.
No. But this time, because I could tell he was hurt, I went down to ask him what it was. I just kind of went down to the fence line and said, yo. And he turned around and looked at me. I go, what is it? And then he pointed at his boys, and I was like, groin?
Yeah.
And he's like,
well, you could get 20% off, young man, if you're really concerned about that during a game.
Yeah. And so then anyhow, I saw them trying to wrap the groin, and I was like, that ain't going to help. You can wrap your groin all you want if it's pulled. And I just thought it was pulled. If it's pulled, it's pulled. You can't. I've pulled my groin. It sucks. There's nothing you can do. And but when he got home, it was
a hell of a party.
When he got home, it was jet black. Like all around the hamstring, all the way down to the back of the knee, all the way in the inner thigh. And I was like, well, that can't be good. And that's what I didn't know, Tom. I didn't know that your abductors, okay, so your abs, the longest tendon you have is the abductor longus. You learn all these things when somebody gets hurt like this. It goes all the way down past where you normally associate, and it connects to your pelvis with a bunch of other stuff, where all that is, very sensitive area. And he ripped his completely off the bone. So when the doctor told me about the procedure, I was like, ooh, it was hard for me not to look at Bryce like, this is going to be a toughie, son. This is because they have to put in screws and reattach. And
so does he have to carry a card now for metal detectors?
It's not metal. It's actually plastic. I think it's like dissolvable. I'm not real sure. I didn't ask enough questions, I don't think. But anyhow, bottom line is he's doing great. And he started physical therapy yesterday. So the timing was perfect for that question. And I appreciate anybody who does. So he's doing all right. He's frustrated. He wants to run. He wants to jump. Feels good. Doctor has had to tell him to slow his roll. Stop doing stuff.
No lifting bowling balls and throwing them down a lane, huh?
No, he's definitely not going to do that. He's definitely not going to do that. But he can do like pull-ups and stuff. And so he's constantly doing pull-ups. And I'm like, you need to stop, man. If you re-injure this and they have to go back in there.
Oh, yeah, no. That's not what you do.
No, it's not. But anyhow, enough about that. He's doing fine. Thanks for asking. But yeah, it makes you, doesn't it? Yeah, I see you. Stop. I know. It just makes you want to jump up and down. It's awful. Heebie-jeebies is right. It's a toughie. All right. I mentioned that I didn't get to him yesterday, but I got to him today, damn it. Let's see if we can keep this roll going. A lot of player props again. Been on fire with these props. Bo Nix over 236.5 passing yards. We're going over. Bo's been slinging it lately. Cortland Sutton over 69.5 receiving yards. Yes. My man, Lad McConkey. Steady cashing checks out here, lad. Over 71.5 yards receiving. Jamar Chase. And I didn't do the little apostrophe thingy. I should have done that. That's how the proper way to write Jamar. But anyhow, Jamar Chase over 87.5 yards receiving because he's just freaking incredible. Probably, he's there in the conversation for best receiver in the league. If you watch him play a lot,
smooth.
He is silky, Tom.
Have you watched Hard Knocks in season on
HBO?
HBO?
Off and on. Yeah, it's good.
It's very, very
It's
good.
really good.
Yeah.
That show's fantastic.
I can't believe that they finally found a way in season. And I know that I did. This is why I bring this up. I'm sure a lot of people don't even think about it because the ones they have in the preseason are fun, but they're a whole lot more fun if it's your team or if it's somebody interesting. But you just kind of don't associate Hard Knocks with the season itself.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have a whole division. It is exceptional. I hope they do it for divisions every year in season because there's enough content to go around, enough storylines to go around. When you get to see back-to-back or simultaneous full team meetings with Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh for the week of Ravens and Steelers.
Yeah.
Man, that is content. And then they throw in a little bit of Jameis over here, a little bit of Jamar Chase over there. That's an excellent, excellent product. I highly recommend people watch that.
It's a fun show. But watching him is in and of itself fun.
Yeah, they showed him going through walkthroughs, and even in walkthroughs, you're saying, who moves like that?
Yeah, he's silky. It's crazy. David Montgomery, they're going to run the football over 56.5 yards. That should be easy money. Now, as soon as I say that, I understand. But, man. And David Njoku, who's been a much better pro than he was in college, and he was pretty good in college, but he's really good now, and Jameis loves throwing to him. Loves it. They are a connection, man. And when I saw that number was 47.5, well, come on.
That's his Cam Brate.
Yeah, and the Chiefs have struggled mightily against tight ends. So this just circle it. Let's go. Should be a winner. Now, gambling involves risk. Who knows? Whether
you could bet on Bucky Irving and have him get hurt in the first quarter.
But I knew that was going to happen, and that's why I went all in on Rachaad White. Because Bucky was already dealing with some things. Denver minus 4.5. Dolphins to win straight up. There you go, Dolphins fans. They've played well. They're averaging 28 points a game in their last 4. He's thrown 1 interception and it's like 200 and something passes. He's been good, Tua has, since coming back from getting his brain cracked again. Seattle to win. Come on, straight. That's what happened. Seattle to win against Green Bay. Packers are 1-4 against teams that have qualified for the playoffs. Give me Seattle's defense. They're going to run the ball too. And I like Cleveland plus the 4.5 to keep it close because all Kansas City does is play close games. Lots and lots and lots of close games.
You've got a bet up top there that I threw in for you.
Yeah, you know that I would want Army.
That's why I didn't put money line. That's why I didn't put spread.
It's just the coolest. It's just the coolest. And we get it this Saturday while we're bowling. It'll be on the screen. And it's just, there's something about Army Navy. Every year when the game comes around, we both lament that we're not there. I
tried to talk you into it this year.
I want to do the whole kit and caboodle. The march on. I want to do all the stuff, get there at noon for a 3:30 kick. Watch the whole thing.
This year's is honoring the 101st. This is a very special Army-Navy game for me. My father was in the 101st, the Screaming Eagles. He learned how to rappel out of helicopters for the Vietnam theater. And so the 101st is very, very significant in our family, and it's for Bastogne specifically for the big time, the 80-year anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge in Bastogne. But the 101st Screaming Eagles are being honored with Army's uniform choice this year. Awesome.
Did you post it? Did you put it up?
I will. I'll grab a photo and put it up later.
So my granddad and my father, both Army. And, if you've had family or even dear friends, you care deeply about this game. The level of service and their commitment is insane. You guys know all this. I don't have to tell you that, but I always, when I watch that and I think back to the wonderful conversations I was privy to in the few years that Trey Jones and I did the show for the PGA Tour Network on SiriusXM. We, every year before this game, would talk to Navy's golf coach and Army's golf coach. And while this is a football game, the schedule doesn't really change. Like when you get up, what you have to do with every second of every day and having it all, locked in, and the kind of commitment it takes to do those things while also trying to compete at the highest level is remarkable. And I find that that's moving. It's touching. Oh, there you go. There's that's regal.
Well, how about the sign too?
Oh yeah. That's amazing. Look at that uni. That's quality, buddy.
And then they'll have the cards, the spade or the club or the heart or the diamond as well. Those are.
What's Navy wearing this year? They're always good too. They do a great job.
Something majestic, but not as cool as this.
Even if it was cool, we would say the Army's is better.
Look at that sleeve on the left with the Screaming Eagle.
I know, isn't that is so awesome. Yeah, it's great. I'm going to have to go to Army, Navy. I got to do it.
We'll get Navies later. We love the Navy, so we'll find that uniform a little bit later as well. But there you go, Army. That's what you do.
Let's do this before we leave. It is loosey-goosey. I don't care if people are seeing me type here. Here we go. Let's pull this up. I'm not pulling up Navy's thing right now. I'm looking at something. Here you go. So, Tom, we do this every year, but now we have to do it. So last year was in Boston. This year's D.C. Next year's Baltimore, and then you get New York City in 2026. The problem with New York City, and that would be cool, is that you got to be over there in freaking East Rutherford, New Jersey. It's sorry-ass MetLife.
Oh, they didn't even put it Yankee?
No.
You just got to put that. That's the one thing that could be at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
Not Soto, but that game.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. East Rutherford, what are we doing? Sorry ass MetLife Stadium. They gotta fix that.
Well, and it's such a confusing thing with the train service to get there. Speaking from experience, the New Jersey transit system versus New York transit system, you can't even pre-purchase a ticket. You got to go. It's totally confusing, like many things in the city. Here's the Navy uniform. You're gonna really, really like this.
I'm sure they do it well every year. I got to give Navy credit. They kick ass every year.
They got a skull and a crossbones.
It looks good. Look at that. That's fantastic. Zoom in on that helmet, man. That is fantastic. Great radio for everybody, I understand. But if you're in the chat, you're loving this because you get to see these suckers. Zoom that puppy in. There we go. No, it's not working.
No, they gave me Tom Cruise.
They gave you Top Gun. Nobody cares. We don't want to see Top Gun.
Oh, for crying out loud.
What happened here? What? There we go. Look at that sucker.
There we go.
Yeah, that's quality. Navy said, allow me to retort. Did a good job.
Kind of going with a sinister back and forth this year. Sometimes it's regal. Sometimes it's showy. Sometimes it's themed with like desert combat or different theaters of war. This year, it's pretty sinister.
I would always go with menacing.
Menacing, yeah.
I would always go with menacing. I would try to make mine as menacing as possible. Like I said, I would, that would be thematic at any, like if I owned Florida State's football team, like we were talking about yesterday, people are investing in owning college football programs. If I did, people would be a little uncomfortable with how, satanic our pregame show was. They would.
You'd have to be very, very careful.
I'd be right teetering on the edge. It would make you uncomfortable. It'd be fantastic. Blood curdling screams. You'd have. I could have had my guy pose better than that, but yeah, man,
it is the Navy.
I mean,
I can't.
It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Well done.
Your local news now.
A 22-year-old man died Wednesday evening in a rollover crash in Perry. The crash unfolded at about 7:30 p.m. along U.S. Highway 98. The 22-year-old Perry man was driving a pickup truck in the westbound lane when it veered across the road. After passing through the eastbound lane, the truck drove into a ditch and spun, colliding with a power pole on the driver's side. The truck then began to overturn and became airborne. The driver was launched from the driver's seat and the truck kept going, crashing into a patch of trees. He died at the scene of the crash. He was not wearing his seatbelt. After growing concerns over the condition of several local railroad crossings, Leon County leaders are stepping in to address the issue. At last month's County Commission meeting, leaders discussed plans to improve the crossings. As repairs begin, drivers are advised to stay alert for any detours or traffic updates that may arise. A full schedule of the closures and detours will be available on the county's website. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. 65 this afternoon under clear skies, northeast winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 50 tonight, partly cloudy skies. 70 tomorrow, partly cloudy skies. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times and dry. Sunday and Monday, low 70s. Sunday, mid 70s by Monday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawns.com. Right now, 63.
Games for Less, Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used games, as well as new and used consoles like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Atari 2600, PS4, and PS5. You name it. Locally owned and operated since 1994, trade-ins are not only welcome, but Games for Less pays more for your trade-ins than the big chain stores. That's not all. Games for Less now buys and sells new and used vinyl records to boot. George loves the Beatles, by the way. Reserve all the new releases today at Games for Less, conveniently located in the Walmart Supercenter Plaza on Appalachia Parkway. There he is. Haven't seen this guy since, what was it? Oh, shoot. U2 at the Sphere in Las Vegas, baby.
Hey, how about that, man? Wasn't that fun?
Good show. Good show. Everything about it. Nearly perfect. Nearly perfect.
I had everything I could possibly want.
I wanted one thing, couldn't find it, and I looked everywhere. No Cubans.
What do you mean?
No Cubans.
There was Cubans.
No, I didn't see any Cubans.
Dude, I'm sure there was Cubans there. I mean,
No, I walked around. There was a moment right before the show. I thought, got to find some Cubans. Nothing.
Dude, there's Cubans. There was Cubans. I'm sure there was Cubans.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas.
No Cubans in Vegas.
There's Cubans in Vegas, man.
Eddie, there were no Cubans.
Chef.
The sandwich. There were no Cuban sandwiches. You're Cuban. Of course I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
I think if I were Army, I'd wear those year round. I know that would make it less special, but those are incredible.
Yeah, the gradient of the snow on the helmet
So
and the
cool.
sleeve is that's a nice play. Nicely done.
And for those that have NCAA college football on the PS5, they have those uniforms. They didn't, but they do now. I know because Coach Cameron is in his 3rd year with Army. And when we had a chance to change uniforms, that one popped on the screen just yesterday, and I went, woo, look at these. Badass. That's cool. That's fun. And that game every year is a lot of fun. We went through a stretch on the JCS, Tom, where the game didn't go well for us for a while. Remember that?
Oh, forever.
Yeah, I mean, it was
the streak was broken in 2016. That was Vern's last game, as I recall.
Vern was always good in that game.
Vern, oh man, and I couldn't keep it together when he said goodbye. After
Oh, that was. Oof.
I mean, he still called the Masters for another 8 years, but that was his last Army Navy game, and they went into the solo shot of him signing off.
Oh yeah,
he loved that game. He loved that game. And sometimes I don't get the sense that Brad feels the same way about the game that Vern felt.
But you know who does? Gary Danielson.
Danielson loves it.
And he does an awesome job. And I'll tell you something about Gary Danielson because I'm friends with a guy who is his spotter. And he told me that when that team came on board to do the Army-Navy game, Gary, as a color analyst, went back and watched old Army-Navy games. And he did so because he wanted to see, because it's such a different game. The game itself is different. The atmosphere is different, but also just the style of football most of the time is so different. So he was like, well, I just want to see what I think I could add to it. And when he went back and listened, he noticed that because of all of the pageantry, very little football was talked. That most of the time football got lost in the shuffle. They were too busy telling you about all the incredible traditions, and they had all these wonderful, CBS produces this amazing video before the game every year. It's incredible. It's won multiple awards. It's anyhow. So he told me that Gary said that when he went back and looked, he realized they're not doing the football justice. They need to talk about the game, talk about the strategy of these two teams, these two coaches, and what they're trying to do. And it's really, he's kind of stamped it his own now. Like he has a real good handle on these two teams.
Well, he's actually a good analyst.
Oh, he's a very, very, very good analyst.
The only thing that he will do is he's got a little Gary Koch in him that he'll say that, well, I told you this was coming.
Right.
Okay, Gary, we get it. You went to the walkthrough on Friday and you saw the trick play.
Right.
We get it. It's okay. You could say, be on the lookout for a trick play here. And if it happens, you're not God. You went to the walkthrough on Friday when they're going through their final preparations, or Thursday, whatever, the final preparations.
The Gary Koch one's my favorite, buddy.
Oh, yep, he has it right.
They all do. They all do. Been here all day.
I just wish more people on the NBC team would have been. Well, that was a moment ago. We go to 7?
Yeah.
We're now live at 7.
Well, he always leans into it, too. That's the problem. Like, it's okay to say it in passing. I might let you slide. Like you guessed right. I'm going to let you slide because it may enhance our broadcast. I may give you the theater of the mind. I might give you that. But when you lean into it like you're a genius, now I got to call you because he already knows the result. We've all seen the putt. He's seen the putt live. And then he'll be like, now, this is tricky. This could slide left. We've seen it a lot. If he doesn't put enough pace on it, it could go left. Now look at there.
Yeah.
It's he did it. Guys, I just thought you didn't think a damn thing. You just saw the putt.
Right.
You
use the proper tense. You just tell us he needed to play this a little bit more outside right. Needed past tense.
He never does. No. I do love his commitment to the con.
Now, I do think there's only about 7 minutes and 15 seconds left in this segment, but we'll see. I don't know. If we go to break in 7 minutes and 10 seconds, I don't know.
How does he know that break is in 7 minutes and 10 seconds? Oh, the clock. There it is. Yeah, I see
Network card out.
Wow. But the last two, we've had 3-point games or close to it, 20-17 and 17-11.
When Gary's in the flow of things, he's good, man. He'll see things quick. And this one is awesome because it's a throwback. You're usually breaking down the same thing every year, but it's not what people watch every week. And the game is rated through the roof. It gets tons of ratings. It was so smart to move it to this week when they did those years ago.
Get their own time as they should. It's separate from everything else.
Then the halftime, you bring in the Heisman finalists because they're in the city for the ceremony. Like it's a nice way to end the season. And now it's not even its standalone game before the bowl season. It's your middle week before the playoff now. So next Friday, a week from today, you've got a playoff game. You got Indiana, Notre Dame, week from today.
It's nice of us to have a little bit of a respite.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if you saw it, Tom, in the chat because we're both busy, but James told you that his dad was in the 101st during World War II. He was at Bastogne.
Oh, my God.
How about that?
Wow.
Pretty cool, James. And thanks for sharing.
Where's that photo, James? You in Dublin? Where is that?
Kind of looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, good for him. That's awesome. That is really, really cool. You got the jacket.
What's that?
Your dad's jacket. You've got
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got the jacket. I didn't fit into it after 7th grade because he was a tiny soldier. I think he was 155 when he served. But he ended up enlisting because he knew his number was going to get called.
Yeah.
Your dad knows exactly what we're talking about here.
Yeah, he knew.
So he enlisted in the 101st, and he went to learn how to be, not paratrooper because that wasn't necessary, but helicopters. He did the whole thing. Remember the scene in Renaissance Man when he's lapelling down, chasing after the student? He had to learn how to do that.
Could you jump out of a plane?
If it was necessary for war?
Well, I'm not talking about commitment to country. I'm saying randomly, could you bring yourself to do it?
Right now? I just, I had a cardio workup in April and it was good. So sure.
I couldn't.
I would do it.
I don't think I could do it.
I would rather fly.
Well, I couldn't do it with 2 kids. I wouldn't do it now, but let's just say I was single and no kids. I thought about it back then.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid of heights. I hate heights. Now I have no problem flying, but the whole jumping out of a plane, having the door be open and all that, I would be paralyzed with fear.
Well, if you get on the plane, you're going to go. That would be the whole thing for me. If we're on the runway and I haven't left the plane, then I'm in. Now, I'd like to be in a fighter jet instead. I'd like to pull the G's. Problem with the vertigo right now, though, that might kill me. So I don't know if I can.
I did the Budweiser blimp.
Oh, yeah.
I did the blimp, and I enjoyed the blimp. I did not like when they took me up at the very beginning of that. And by the way, I've told this story. The pilot of the blimp that flew over Doak was hilarious. He was Australian, and he was a funny guy. He had crazy stories. He'd been flying that Budweiser blimp forever. He had done 336 games, and he had stories for days. He was funny. He's the kind of guy you want to have a beer with, and he would have a beer with you. But he told me in the beginning, because they're holding on the ropes. The only thing holding that thing down is where it's hovering low to the ground are just dudes. They're just people holding ropes. I was like, this is kind of odd. But when they let go of the rope, they pull they pull back the lever that dips the nose or raises the nose. And he goes, when we first let go, we're going to pull back hard and kind of go straight up. Well, they do it with the damn door open. The door is open. That I'm not a fan of the door. But can we shut the door? And then my man's like, we went straight back up. It's
like you're in a Jeep.
Oh man, I don't know. But then once you're up, it's incredible. It's like a magic carpet. It's like you literally you don't even feel like you're moving.
Honestly, I think I'd have a harder time with the lapelling down the wall than I would jumping out of a plane. Because just the parachute, instead of I've got to time the squeezing of the rope, he's told me about it a million times, that everybody would squeeze the rope too soon in the lapelling exercise, and they would slam the wall because they're afraid of.
Yeah, they don't want, So
it's self-fulfilling, and you have to learn to trust and time so that you get your feet out, and then you can properly do the lapel. But that would scare me more than jumping out of a plane. We'd be going backwards down a wall. Nah, man.
And there is zero chance, and Old Dad brought it up, and this is truly morphed into a Libations Friday edition of the show. There is zero chance in hell that I ever get in a hot air balloon. Not just because those things are routinely taking out power lines and dying and all that stuff, but you got no control, and I'm not in a basket with other people whom I don't trust. Alejandro was an extra for Renaissance Man, filmed at Fort Jackson when I was there, and I was part of the extras at the end. That's cool.
Did you get to meet Stacey Dash? Seriously.
Yeah.
There's a good era.
That's a good era. Never getting in a hot air balloon. I'd jump out of a plane before I'd get in a hot air balloon. True story. I can tell you that right now. I'm not getting in a hot air balloon ever. Never doing it. But I can't keep myself from watching videos of hot air balloons either falling from the sky, killing everybody, or running into power lines. There's too many of those videos.
It's akin to them putting you in a floating boat with no oars, and they're like, well, the tide's going to take you. And you might be able to manipulate it a little bit, but the tide's going to take you where we go.
But I don't trust the other people in the basket. It would be some smart ass that'd be like, ooh, ooh, and they'd shake it, and I'm thinking about it. I'm getting angry. I'll kill somebody. You're not shaking this thing. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. We are going to have a problem right here and now. But the problem is, like, I have to wait to kill him because I'm not going to shake it up even more when I grab him.
Well, unless you're quick. You can make a quick movement.
No, I don't like talking about, because what if I'd slip and there's just all of it.
Well, the basket's pretty high.
That basket needs to be over my head with a roof on it. I'm not doing it.
Maybe you could have a couple of cornbreads. Then you get in the hot air balloon.
I'm telling you, somebody would be like, ooh, ooh. They think it's funny.
Just an elbow to the face. They take a nap in the basket.
I had somebody do that on one of those massive Ferris wheels. They're like rocking back. Hey! I'm like, no. You can stop with that. I'm serious. We're going to have a problem here in a second. Hour number 2 forthcoming.
Oh, whoa! Check out Pinch a Penny. We're stocked to the rafters with hot spring spas, a recognized leader. Imagine the fun of the holidays with warmth, relaxation, and lovely bubbles. Oh, with 30 home spas for you to see right now. Affordable right now, too. Up to $2,000 off or special financing. Ask for details. Is the world stressing you out? Fight back. Pinch a Penny. Now to assure these prices. Pinch a Penny, open 7 days a week on Career Road.
Hey, let me tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653.
No matter how busy life gets, your home is the place where your family and friends show you they care and celebrate with you. That's why the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning always make sure your home is comfortable. Just like those who matter to you most, Barano will always be there for you.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT. Greta, Tallahassee.
It's time for your 93.3 Sports Flash, powered by Tallulah CBD Mushrooms, THC. Visit TallahasseeCBD.com.
NFL Week 15, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be out west in Los Angeles. They'll take on the Chargers at SoFi Stadium. The Bucs have won 3 straight as they go to 7-6, and they now lead the NFC South by 1 game over the Atlanta Falcons. They'll face a Chargers team that is the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL, allowing just 16 points per game. They sit at 8-5. Jacksonville hosting Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets Sunday. Jags coming off a win against Tennessee. Sunday in Nashville, that snapped a 5-game losing skid. They are 3-10. The Jets have lost 4 straight. They are also 3-10. College basketball, Florida State playing Tulane Saturday, and Sunrise at the Orange Bowl Classic. Seminoles are 7-3. Florida at 9-0 and ranked number 9 will face Arizona State Saturday in Atlanta. This sports update brought to you by Flomar's Pawn, Guns, and Gold. More than you might expect. I'm Tony Desiri, Real Talk 93.3.
Meet Cheryl. Hey, she's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card. It's got to be somewhere. Maybe she lost it at salsa night. These skirts should have pockets. Or maybe she lost it at Pilates. 3 and 2 and... But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
This holiday season, Straight Talk Wireless is letting you say yes a lot more with real unlimited data. Yes to sharing pics of the ugliest holiday sweaters. Yes to checking weather on the go for surprise sledding trips. And with a free phone at sign up, let the yes-tivities begin. No way! Yes way. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart or straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 1/5/25 while supplies last at participating stores. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation on select single line plans. Limit of 2 phones per customer. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
In 1939, a young copywriter named Robert L. May wrote a Christmas poem. The popularity of this little poem grew famously, so much so that 10 years later, it was the basis of a song written by Johnny Marks and recorded by Gene Autry. May was often taunted and ostracized for being shy and small in stature. To capture those emotions, as he told us the story of one strange-looking reindeer with a shiny red nose. And now you know another Christmas story. From Glass Pro Shop, built upon a history of excellence and providing you the finest quality glass replacement. Online at glassproshop.com or call 850-575-7403. Sellers on Capitol Circle Northeast in Tallahassee, just north of Mahan Drive, for tile, carpet, hardwood, and luxury vinyl. Online at sellers.com or call 850-656-8453.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
Florida's capital city. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
have some surprise picks this hour, I think, with her. I don't think that we're going to go and suffer the same fate we did a week ago where we had the exact same games. Almost certain of it. Although I didn't ask her who she had last night in the world's most boring contest this season. First Thursday night game in which a touchdown was not scored. That's what you had last night. Hey, don't look now. The Rams have won 7 of their last 9 games. Kind of a problem if you have to play them in the playoffs if they get there. And they're lurking. They're a game back, and it may come down to the final game of the year against the Seattle Seahawks. How cool is that?
Yes, that division's setting up to be, I mean, it has been very interesting, packed together.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly more good than mediocre versus where the South is. You know, you might have a good team in Tampa Bay, but top to bottom that division, not so much.
Right.
Top to bottom, the West is interesting.
It is. Very, very interesting.
And then once the Rams got healthy, there you go.
Well, teams are playing. I mean, Seattle's won 3 straight, right? And they're a good team. It's a lot of fun to look at what's going on over there right now.
The best part is when you get to winning time, end of the regular season, postseason, whatever. When the stakes are high, usually the defensive line is the thing that puts you over the quarterback and defensive line. So there's a chance for Braden Fisk and Jared Verse to make division championship defining plays here in the next few weeks.
Troy, your Niners aren't trash, buddy. They just are the most injured team not named Tampa Bay or L.A. Bucks and Chargers face each other this weekend, and that is a battle of 2 injury-riddled teams. Even players who are important to the 2 clubs that are playing are hurt, and that includes Herbert. But the 49ers have had every single member of the defensive line that played in last year's playoffs go down due to injury. And a slew of others. And the story of the night was the fact that we had another instance in which a player refuses to go into a game. Now, that is career suicide in the NFL. You're done dealing. There won't be a bounce back for him. Devondre Campbell will I doubt he'll ever play football again.
Not if we don't sign him. I kid.
Well, here's the thing. They were fighting for their playoff lives. They had to win the game last night. They were down injury after injury after injury at linebacker. Greenlaw, all those guys are out. And they asked him to go in the game, and my man says no. Well, what are we doing here? I'm surprised we didn't read about him catching an ass beating because players ripped him afterwards. Not all would engage. Kittle certainly did, and so did others.
Yeah, hope I never have that happen again.
Well, yeah, I hope I'm never around a situation like that again. Yeah. It's just bizarre. But I would think in that league, he'll be cut. You could even see a team get vindictive after something like that, in which they hold on to him so he can't sign somewhere else. And they make him inactive.
Yeah, because the cap cost is there anyway. What do they care?
And you make him inactive, and you take the game check for conduct unbecoming or detrimental to the team. You could do something like that. But Greenlaw was out. Winters was out. I don't know of a healthy player on the San Francisco defense at this point. And, yeah, man, I'm also surprised you don't see, because that's the kind of thing where guys would get swung on. I'm intrigued by the idea that, because I've been fortunate over the years to cover enough players that have come through Florida State that have gone on to go to the NFL and then come back later on, and I'll either run into them or be at an event and have a chance to talk to them. And I've asked a lot of guys who went to the league, what were they most surprised? Hell, I asked Jameis Winston that on the air. He talked about the speed of the linebackers, if you recall. Well,
I would imagine so.
Yes, he still struggles with that. He does indeed. But I remember that the first time I talked to Jameis after his first year in Tampa.
He needs to pray to the Lord that the Lord will give him a sense for how fast these men are.
He should pray to the Lord to help him understand the speed, in particular, of linebackers, because he struggles with linebackers.
You know who ruined his career? Keekly ruined his career.
Well, Keekly ruined a lot of people's career. He was a top 10 all-time player at linebacker. But anyhow, this I loved it when he answered that honestly. I said, well, what's the first thing you notice? Like, how fast the linebackers are. Like in college, you could see a guy, you could throw it, you know you got him. The linebacker's not getting there. In the NFL, I'm like, Jameis, as only he can describe it. Like, yes, they can run. They're 240 pounds running 4.4, 4.5. That's not normal. That's why they're in the league. They are freaks of nature. To see that in person is something to behold, though. To be down at field level, you've done it with Florida State players that have gone. But when you watch certain people that are 235 pounds plus and they're running 4.48, 4.52, 4.5, I mean, you're like, what in the world? That is a monster.
Well,
that is frightening.
In Florida State Pro Day 2013, I almost got run over by Bradham, and he could fly for his size.
Straight ahead, he could.
Straight ahead.
Not great lateral movement, but yeah.
That wasn't the drill.
Nope.
The drill was straight ahead. And they didn't tell me that this was the slowdown area. And so I'm not even looking at him complete his drill because I think it's over.
He can go.
And then it was, hey. And I looked to my right. Well, there's Nigel.
That's a sizable man sprinting at me.
I saw what he did to LaRon Bird months ago.
Yes, it was a beautiful thing.
I need to get out of the way.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Got to get out of the way.
About a year and a half earlier, but still, that hit still sticks with me.
But the part where I was going with all of this is that a lot of the guys have described that the level of professionalism in the NFL that differs from college football, although that's now changing. And I'm going to talk about that in the third hour. That's changing a lot with programs in college are going to be far less collegial and more pro-like than ever before. But the money's there, and we know all that. You have organizations now, GMs now, scouting departments, analysts. You have all the things that the NFL has had for a very, very long time. But it's starting to happen in college. But anyhow, the difference for the longest period of time was that, college is college and pro is pro. But in pro, obviously, every man is fighting their ass off to sustain that paycheck. It is a very small window most people have to play at that elite level. It is a extremely violent game, and guys know they're a play away from being out of the league. And so if I got a roster spot, if I'm good enough to have made that league, I'm going to do everything in my power to ensure that I stick around. And I like cashing multi-million-dollar checks. It's enjoyable to play 17 weeks of football and make $18 million. That's a good deal.
Even if you're making league minimum.
Yes,
you are
hundreds of ththousands of dollars.
And plus the pension that comes with if you can stick around long enough in the league.
You're set for life.
And if you're on that level, every week's a tryout. It literally is true. It's not some coaching cliche. It is you. If you miss 2 tackles this week, you're on a practice squad somewhere else, halfway across the country.
It can be that way unless you're an established pro, just had a bad day. But yes, you're right.
Yeah, I'm saying about the league minimum guy.
Oh, yeah. You're about to be gone. Yeah.
There's a lot of them on a 2-win team this time of year. And so this is why.
That's why they don't ever mail it in. You always hear about people tanking. They ain't tanking in the NFL.
Yeah, only personnel decisions
that's
can
right.
do a tank.
You can choose to play the players who aren't as good, but they ain't going to tank. Nobody's out there half-stepping because you can't put bad film out there. But the point would be those guys all said that the locker room does a very good job of policing itself because I have to depend on you to do your job or I could get hurt. So if I'm there to fill or to spill and you're the cleanup, if I don't do my job, that guy's free to block you. And if you're assuming I'm doing my job, you're not expecting to get ear-holed. You're looking to make the play towards the sideline or to push further out or whatever your very specific job is in this look on this play. And everybody knows play to play based on the look and the play that's running, whatever you check to, everybody has a very specific assignment. This is the time where Tom gets the glory and I have to be the one who takes on the lead blocker or vice versa, whatever it might be.
This is where I hope the college game will go. I hope we can arrive to that place where the locker room polices itself because the money is there and the leverage is such that, hey, man, we could just cut your ass.
Well, and this is all getting back to my point on the DeAndre Campbell thing. It's kind of stunning that you would arrive at a place where a guy is on your roster to the point where you need him to play in a game that is this pivotal, and he would refuse to go in. Usually that would have been vetted in the manner that it is in the NFL, which is day-to-day, practice to practice. You're doing what you're supposed to do so that we can all succeed. And if you don't, you get called out on that in a weird way. I had a former player tell me that's where you'll see fights. That happens. Like you get one time, you make a mistake. Everybody makes a mistake. It's a hard sport. Everybody gets it, right? Or maybe you lose. You can lose a one-on-one. You're going to. These other guys are paid handsomely. They're good players. Everybody will forgive that to an extent. And if you get beat too many times, you just get cut. But the point would be, he told me that if you are not where you're supposed to be, and a play happens, and that's when you see like a broken play where a guy runs 60 yards because somebody wasn't there to set the edge or to fill or whatever it might be. You'll watch players say something. They'll be like, just to let the person know, just in case they were unsure of their responsibility in that moment, like, hey, man, that's you. That's you. That happened because of you. And you might see two guys arguing. Usually a third comes over and either confirms or whatever
and then quells it.
And that's the end of it. It's kind of like, no, man, that was you. You missed it. All right. Well, then that guy's apologetic, realizes it, figures it out, and makes sure it doesn't happen again. But if it happens again, and it happens a couple of times in like a short period of time, fights. Oh, he was telling me, he's like, it'll happen. You'll get fights in the film room. Like, well, here's the play where I get earholed because you, for the second time in 3 weeks, didn't do your job. And then there's usually John, and then it's go time now because you could get me hurt. And now I'm out. I mean, teams are ruthless. You know that. They'll cut your ass. They don't really care why. If I'm hurt because Tom didn't do his job, me and Tom have a problem. I mean, instantly, because it's millions of dollars. So it's surprising to me that Devondre Campbell is on a roster to get to a point where he would say, I'm not going in. You're not going in? It's 12-6, my man. You're going in. That's weird. That's weird. I would have guessed that we would have heard about. It sounds like from listening to George Kittle, if he was aware of that interaction in the immediate aftermath, there might have been a problem on the sideline, at least based on his quote.
100%. Yeah.
He didn't realize it. Quote, I'm a leader on the team, and if that is something that is being a distraction on the sideline, I would have loved to have voiced my opinion in that moment. Voice your opinion. This is code for whooping somebody's ass. Man, that would have been a fun fight to watch.
Al would have perked up. Whoa, we got some action here on the sidelines.
Yeah, because Devondre Campbell is 6'4", 238. And obviously, Kittle is not small. That'd have been a good one. We missed an opportunity. That would have been 6'4", 238 against George Kittle. Just pulled him up to see what he is, 6'4", 252. Oh, we got us a good one.
Policing in the locker room. God, that's on my Christmas list for 2025.
Somebody doing that in an FSU locker room again?
Yeah.
Clearly didn't have it last year. Clearly this past season. I mean, I kept waiting for it. I kept waiting for somebody to emerge that you would say, oh, there it is. It's happened. Somebody's sick of what they're going through, what they've seen, all of it.
We got one guy waiting on his NFL draft grade. Why, I don't know, versus potential portal stuff. And I'm like, man, if what you say is sacred in the NFL, then why even wait for your draft grade? You ain't going to get a good one. Nobody's going to pay you anything. Just hop in the portal.
Yeah, there were guys that did, I think, irreparable damage to their potential draft slot. I mean, there were a couple players in particular that had the requisite skill to fill a role as a mid-level draft choice, somebody that would be on a team that would get paid pretty well. And they did so much damage to their stock that they have to play another. Think about that. Think about being so irresponsible, disgruntled, whatever led to you to decide to mail in performance after performance. Be told by a coach, this isn't a good look. This is going to hamper your ability to make serious money and to get drafted where you thought you were going to get drafted. Don't let this happen again. I get we're all a little frustrated, but you can't go through the motions here, man. This is on film. They're going to look at it. I know for a fact that was stated to a player on this team. And
defensive player?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that player didn't heed the warnings and continued to do what we saw him do.
And play.
And now that dude has cost himself a year. He's got to go play another year of college football.
This is where Mike did get betrayed, but you have recourse.
You do
as the head coach to change things. But he would allow veterans who had proven that they are capable, that they
were good players at one point. Yeah,
and detail sound, because one specific player that we're talking about on the defensive line at the defensive end position had proven beyond my personal concerns 2 years ago. I apologized on the air maybe 10 times. Because I thought that
you thought he would be a
Patrick
hothead.
Payton is a hothead, a 15-yard penalty waiting to happen.
Yeah.
and he played with smarts and instinct, and he would clean up other people's messes. He would fire out to the flat like Bjorn Werner with anticipation.
Until he didn't.
Until he didn't. I mean, my God, sir. But Mike would allow somebody who had proven that to take it a little bit easier in practice. He did it from Dylan Gibbons all the way to Jared Verse. We know what we have in this player. And he got betrayed. He got betrayed on that one, and a couple other circumstances too.
Frustrating. Our friends at Tried and True, willing to help you start to save some money and make some money. As a business owner, you get to choose. Got several offers. You can do $1,000 off a point of sale system, no gateway charges for a year, free video ad board, which I've talked about. You get that as a Tried and True client. And they've been incentivizing this for a while because they know what they do and how well they do it, and they know how happy you'll be. They also give 10% of their income from their services to the Battle's Inn. Call Don. Just saw Joe yesterday. Rusty's on board now. They're doing a great job. Give them a call today if you wish, and I think you'll be happy that you did. 844-463-6653, 844-463-6653. Wagering with Mama.
Every journey starts with a first step, a daring step. But what they don't say about first steps is that you have to keep going, taking step after step, and eventually you take a big leap, accomplishing more than you ever thought possible. After 57 years, Tallahassee Community College is soaring even higher, and we're now officially Tallahassee State College. We invite you to take a step and visit Tallahassee State College. Learn more at tsc.fl.edu.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to drink water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mandlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
Social Kitchen is your go-to premier market for the holidays. Social Kitchen has premium meats, homemade sides, prepared meals, and custom charcuterie boards for all of your holiday hosting. Headed to a holiday party? Stop by and grab dips, spreads, and other prepared items for the entire party. Located off Cary Forest next to Ology, Social Kitchen has everything you need this holiday season. Go to socialkitchentlh.com or drop in to see what Social Kitchen has fresh and ready for you today.
Games for Less, Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used games, as well as new and used consoles like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Atari 2600, PS4, and PS5. You name it. Locally owned and operated since 1994, trade-ins are not only welcome, but Games for Less pays more for your trade-ins than the big chain stores. That's not all. Games for Less now buys and sells new and used vinyl records to boot. George loves the Beatles, by the way. Reserve all the new releases today at Games for Less, conveniently located in the Walmart Supercenter Plaza on Appalachia Parkway.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com. Show the coupon at the pharmacy and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Rolling on Big River Libations Friday. It's time for Bets with Mama, Picks with Mama. Let's do it. Cue it up, good sir.
And now for another edition of the Family Pick. Nick.
Go to your room! Ma, the meatloaf!
Take it away, Jeffrey.
Helmet you created over here in the upper right-hand corner.
I had limited clip art to work with.
But I did pull that back up. It's hilarious on a lot of levels. What is that a pirate?
Yeah, it's a pirate. So you got the old Buccaneers and the modern Buccaneers.
It's an old pirate. It's like a...
That's the closest thing I could find to Bucko Bruce. Is him standing on a barrel.
It makes me laugh every time. Mom is the 2023 champion, and she has a lead, and we are late in the year. This is getting interesting. Mama, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm cracking up at that thing, too. I thought that was a leprechaun.
It just looks like he's sort of like he's like a biker who's at a...
Very funny. I don't know. I didn't see the patch at first and everything, and I saw those little short, like, leg things, and I was like, oh, that looks like a leprechaun.
I was like, is he wearing leggings? What's going on here? Is this a Village People guy? Like, what's...
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
No, just wondering what's going on there.
That's okay. That's okay.
All right, Mom.
Yes, I tell you, it is getting interesting, isn't it? I told Tom, I don't know, my bubble may burst here at some point. I don't know. Of course, last week, like you said, we didn't have any difference, so we couldn't change anything. But I don't know. This week we've got some doozies.
Who did you have last night?
I had the Rams.
You beat me again.
Oh, my Lord. Did you have San Fran?
I took a flyer on San Fran because I thought it was the last time we'd get the best effort out of them. They were desperate. It was the only chance they had to make the playoffs was to win last night. And they played good enough defense to win, but alas, 12-6.
Terrible game.
Awful.
12-6. Well, you know why I didn't pick them? I mean, because I don't have anything against San Fran, and I know they were playing at San Fran, but I just think they've got a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
They've got so much inner turmoil. I mean, people are mad. They're not playing. The locker room is a mess and everything. So I just kind of thought that wasn't a good thing.
I played on desperation. You went with logic. Good call, Mom. Logic won. The Rams have won 7 of their last 9, and I think will be a problem if they make the playoffs. So you're now up 5, I believe, as we head into the weekend.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's right. Holy.
Ooh. It's getting to be a runaway. I got to get locked in here. Okay, let's get started.
Okay, I'm ready, I think.
Kansas City at Cleveland.
Kansas City at Cleveland. I got KC.
I'm taking Kansas City, but I'm not going to be shocked if Cleveland wins. And I took the 4 in my wagers personally because Kansas City's been hanging on by a thread every week.
They've won by like a touchdown or a couple of points or something. They have, but it's just kind of hard to pick against them.
Yeah, it is
right now.
I agree with you. Cincinnati at Tennessee.
Cincinnati.
Washington at New Orleans.
Washington.
Baltimore at the Giants.
Baltimore.
Dallas at Carolina.
Yeah, I took Dallas. I don't know. I'm not sure about that game, but I did.
I'm taking Carolina. We have one different. There we go.
Oh, okay.
The Jets at the Jags.
Yeah, isn't that a sad game?
Pitiful.
That's a tragic game. I do believe I took Jacksonville.
I took Jacksonville as well. How about that?
Okay. I know. Well, they won last week, bless their hearts.
Miami at Houston.
I took Houston.
I'm taking the Dolphins. There we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lordy, here we go.
Miami going on the road. Let's get it done, Dolphins. Let's go. Colts at Denver.
The Colts at Denver. I took Denver.
Me too. Great game coming up. Buffalo at Detroit.
I know. Now that is a barn burner. I would really like to pick Detroit, and I usually would, but I took Buffalo. I think Detroit, as I think you pointed out to me, has an awful lot of injuries. I don't know. I think Buffalo's playing better, and I took them.
I'm going to take Detroit. It's a great game. I'm going to take Detroit. A really good game. I think it's a coin toss. I think Detroit's going to kind of try to control the game in the run game. They're going to try to hold the ball and keep the ball out of the hands of Allen, obviously. And look, Buffalo's a great team, and I think Josh Allen's the MVP. But I just Detroit at home in a game that I think comes down to the wire. I'll take the Lions. Pittsburgh at Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah, now that's another game, isn't it? Holy smokes.
Great game.
I agonized over that because I think Pittsburgh is really good in their defense, but I took Philly.
I took Philly as well. Pittsburgh may make us regret it. They're 4-0 against teams that have qualified for the playoffs.
I have a feeling that's one we could lose. But anyway, and I won't hurt my feelings if I do, but anyway, I took Philly.
New England at Arizona.
What'd you just say, honey?
New England at Arizona.
Oh, I took Arizona.
Tampa Bay at the Chargers.
Oh, my God. This game is just killing me. I want to take Tampa Bay so bad, but I just can't take them. I took the Chargers. I think cross country, and if we, are going to lose a game, this would be the one that we could lose and still go on and make the playoffs if we win out. So I took the Chargers.
Time to take a risk. Let's go, Buccos. I'm taking Tampa Bay.
Are you really? Well, bless your heart. I hope I lose that game. I hope that's the only one I lose, though.
Yeah, I'm taking them. I think that it's a battle between two injury-riddled teams, and I'm going to go ahead and lean on the Bucs to somehow steal it at the end. Green Bay at Seattle.
I took Seattle.
I did, too. Chicago at Minnesota.
Minnesota.
And the last one, Atlanta at Las Vegas, the Raiders.
That's another tragic game. I took Atlanta.
Me too. All right, so we have Tampa Bay, Los Angeles different.
Yep.
We have Buffalo, Detroit different. We have Miami, Houston different. We have Dallas, Carolina.
So we have four different.
And I was really close. I was really close to taking Cleveland.
Where you? Yo, that would have been crazy. Well, anyway, even if I lose them all, I'll still be one up. But I don't want to lose them all because that's not good.
Way to boil it down to its simplest terms, Mother. I love you, and I'll talk to you later.
I love you too. You guys have a good weekend.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There's Mama. Guys, I'll give you a little behind the curtain look here. So, Mom comes on the show, and it's a fun conversation. And then I look on my board here to the right. I have stuff up here. Some of it's stuff that I type for show purposes. Some of it's stuff that are reminders. And the reminder here is that I need to be talking about Manscaped. I'm really glad that I didn't have to do that previous to her coming on. Yeah, Mom, sit on hold while I talk about trimming the boys. That's a toughie. Man.
At a wonderful discount.
Yeah, 20% off plus free shipping with the code WARCHANT at manscaped.com. It's holiday season. You could get the all-in-one grooming kit / performance package. Hey, now. It's the 5.0 Ultra. You got the lawnmower, the weed whacker, and the salve, the lotion for the boys. No chafing around here. You can get all of that. That's out there now, and you could do so and save 20% plus the free shipping. That's what I'm talking about. Use the promo code WARCHANT. Once again, that's 20% off plus free shipping with the code WARCHANT at manscaped.com. Stay on top of the game, guys. Keep it together. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, WARCHANT TV.
Your local news now.
A groundbreaking ceremony was held at the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services' new state-of-the-art facility Tuesday. The 256,000 square foot facility is expected to consolidate around 940 FDACS employees across 13 divisions in Tallahassee into one single location. The facility is expected to save the department and Florida taxpayers more than $70 million. The facility is expected to be completed in late 2027. New teachers could be required to get active shooter training before they step foot in a classroom. A proposal filed this week could make that training a requirement to get a teaching certificate in Florida. The proposal wouldn't add any additional class hours. Prospective teachers would need to get a teaching certificate in the state. Representative Daley tried to get this bill passed last year. Despite having wide support, it did not make it fully out of the committee process. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by McNamore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McNamoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Frobley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. 65 this afternoon under clear skies, northeast winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 50 tonight, partly cloudy skies. 70 tomorrow, partly cloudy skies. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times and dry. Sunday and Monday, low 70s. Sunday, mid 70s by Monday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently 65.
Oh, whoa! Check out Pinch-A-Penny.
We're stocked to the rafters with hot spring spas.
A recognized leader. Imagine the fun of the holidays with warmth, relaxation, and lovely bubbles. Oh, with 30 home spas for you to see right now. Affordable right now, too. Up to $2,000 off. Or special financing. Ask for details.
Is the world stressing you out like that?
Pinch-A-Penny. Now, to assure these prices, Pinch-A-Penny open 7 days a week on Career Road.
There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's a Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So like different breeds, like different kinds.
There's like families. There's different families. And,
so there's if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch
or the Yeti, right?
Yep,
and then here in Florida, that's a skunk ape. And
never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com multimedia network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
By the way, Tom, that's a really good solving the future. We're going to solve for the future of fantasy football right here with our friends at ISF, right here, right now.
We're going meta?
I like it. Yeah, we're going to go meta. And it was fun, the idea of it. I've been waiting for you to pull the trigger on this for some time.
I've been talking about it for years. Yeah, the creation of proper fantasy football.
There are so many rules and problems wrong with things that happen over the course with ISF, man. That ISF can help us solve here. But with fantasy football,
they're
you're right.
Solution.
They're the solution. We're going to collaborate with them. We'll talk to Jonathan. Solving the Future brought to you by ISF, Tallahassee. 40-plus years, ISF is combining your vision plus their expertise. See ISF's capabilities today at isf.com. Got to meet up with Jonathan here soon. I would tell you, Tom, so during the break, Tom was telling me, how every year I bitch about fantasy football and about how there's certain aspects of it that are unfair. Like you could have the highest scoring team in the league and you just get unlucky and lose on a few too many weeks because of the timing of a game or whatever, injuries, could be whatever it might be, right? You're not rewarded for how shrewd you were during the draft process or the free agents that you picked up along the way or those that you had insight enough to know would become factors in week 6 and 7 and therefore sat them on your bench waiting for weeks to pounce. I happen to have that third string running back from San Francisco who now everybody wants. He's right here. Suck it.
Garen, don't mind if I do.
Garindo indeed. All right. So I say if now Tom's got a league that he's proposing. Of course, I'll be in this league.
I've got concepts of a plan.
I'm going to win this league. I'm already going to talk. I'm going to win this league. Now, the thing of it is, I don't even really like fantasy that much.
Yeah.
So it has to be worth our time.
Right. I'm in one league now because I've been in it for 23 years.
Same thing. I'm in one league because I've been in it forever, and I love the guys that are in it. We're all dear friends, so that's fine.
I was a freshman in high school when I joined this thing.
So that's fine. But now I don't know about ever joining another league until you came to the table and solved the problems of future fantasy football.
Yeah, I did.
All right. So you've been writing the rules.
Yeah, I have been.
And here's what I'm going to propose now. If we're going to spend that kind of money per person to be involved in this league.
Yeah, it's got to be a lot for people to care.
Well, you have to try it. But also it's worth winning.
Yeah.
You're investing time because it's worth winning. Like that's a nice vacation.
Yeah.
All right. So, buddy, we need to go all in on the cheesiness. Let's go and draft in Vegas.
Yeah.
Fly out there, have all the teams, club presidents and owners.
Yes, so
we roll out there.
There's a one-time franchise buy-in fee.
It's significant.
In the 4 figures.
Mm-hmm.
And what that does is it affords the league to do an inaugural draft party, which sets the tone for future years.
Yeah, it does it upright. Yeah.
But then also we can go create our own logos for our own pieces of clothing that we wish to sport for the team. So we get our own hoodie or we get our own koozie or whatever prop you want. You get one prop.
Okay,
so if you want
a
battle axe, you get a battle axe. You get whatever you want.
Okay.
But it's never going to come down to week 14 in the semifinals of your league playoff.
No, it's nonsense.
It's about whoever accrues the most points. It's like Premier League. You're at the top of the table, baby. You win. But there's also a Champions League element on top of all that, where once you get into the playoffs, because I'm in a redraft league. So my league goes 18 weeks in the NFL.
And then there's a champion of that league.
And then you play in the playoffs. You get money for the points title. But then you go in with a pool of 6 other teams into the playoffs and you redraft every week to crown a champion. So it's a marathon. And I really like the redraft because it keeps the playoffs interesting.
Yeah, and you are going to be drafting players that are in the playoffs, the real playoffs.
Yeah, that's right.
You're not doing some cheap-ass week 16, everybody sitting their players nonsense.
No, so
you're drafting guys that are going to be playing come hell or high water because it's the real playoffs.
Yes, it's the full board. And you've got a, let's say, 4-man semifinal, and there are winners, and then the board is empty, and you redraft from the pool again for the next week. It's really, really fun, but you've got to reward people for drafting the best team or hitting the waiver wires.
Yeah, making the smartest, most shrewd maneuvers.
Well, and not careless ones and reckless ones where you're throwing stuff against the wall. That's why I propose $5 transaction fees.
Oh, okay, learning more.
Yeah. Oh, there's
you got to pay to play.
That's right. You got to be invested.
All right.
I also want to throw a banquet for Championship Sunday, AFC NFC Championship for the league through the kick-in on the franchise fee, where we can go to a place and hey, it's all expenses, open bar. Let's enjoy some football together to crown the Champions League champion. It'd be good fun.
Well, it's a great opportunity for guys everywhere to be able to leave their family behind and get somewhere with the fellas for a weekend.
Yeah. But the draft will be the big event. It always is.
But
That's the premier event.
You can have opportunities throughout the year, Tom. I propose that we have one big draft out in Vegas.
Yep.
Then maybe a mid-season get-together in, Chicago.
Yeah.
And then an end-of-the-year banquet to celebrate the champion, maybe in, say, New York City.
Sure.
And then
there's a golf trip.
Whoa, yeah, we got to do it.
I like your idea of 12 teams versus 10. I don't know if we'll have enough buyers for it.
Oh, we will.
You think so?
We know plenty of people with money. Let's get it on. Yeah.
Well, 12 is a nice number if you're going on a golf trip.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Nice and round.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. 3 teams of
3
4.
groups.
Let's go. Let's ride out. And then I can say to my wife, I don't know what you want me to do, baby. I've invested in this, and this is the league. This is what we're doing.
You know what you could even do is your top 4 finishers, your middle 4, and your bottom 4 are the groups, and they play against each other.
So when you peel out and away from the lesser teams in the league, especially that last group of 4. You could be like, see you slap dicks later, dead ass last. Off you go. You could have
maybe they start with a couple stroke penalty for the side game there. Oh, there's a lot there.
You shame them. You make sure everybody knows why they're teeing off last and why they're in that group of 4.
Well, I was also thinking of doing a redraft for wild card weekend for the bottom 2 finishers. Okay, so you
buy back in.
No, well, no, they don't get relegated or kicked out of the league. But
you could relegate
last place finisher. The last place finisher has to do some part of shame. League voted shame. Or they pay in. There's a fee. You can pay $250 to not be shamed.
Yeah, so if you finish last, you owe us $250 for just being
goes into the league fund for next year's draft or whatever. Yeah. I also want to spend somewhere around $500 on a chalice for the champion. It has to be opulent.
What's the hell of a chalice?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Want some rubies in it?
You get real rubies?
That's right. I want gold-plated copper, buddy. Nothing but the best.
I want real rubies out here. Let's go.
And I want people to want to drink out of it and show it off and put it on the mantle.
Buddy, if we're having to chip in for a $500 or a $1,000 chalice,
this is where the
that has real jewels.
This is where the one-time franchise fee comes into play.
It's bedazzled.
Hey, you're giving Commissioner Lang the rights to spend some money on cool stuff.
What I'm saying is if you have that, you're going to get so tired. If I win this league, there'll be a nightly post of me drinking out of that chalice. Hey, Tom. I can't wait to yank that chalice out of his hands.
I was thinking either a chalice or you get some sort of medieval dagger.
No, I want the chalice.
I think the chalice is better, though, because you can drink from it.
Yeah, but I want the chalice for winning and then just dumping red wine all over my face from the chalice.
Come on now. You're in.
Oh, yeah.
You're feeling it.
Oh, I'm in. I'll write you the check. Let's go. Yeah, and now you're playing for keeps.
Yeah, well, again, so the payouts would be threefold. It would be for the season total points. That's your biggest champion of everybody. Then every week, top point earner wins money. So that way, if you're in 7th and you've got no chance to run down a Champions League appearance or whatever, you're incentivized to play as hard as you can. And then there's the playoffs tournament, the Champions League. Buddy, it'll be a hoot.
If you want to watch drama, obviously you got Army-Navy this weekend. And we have the NFL games. It's a week off before the playoffs for college football. But something to watch and to pay attention to right now, and it is dramatic. PGA Tour Q School, presented by the Korn Ferry. You know what I'm reminded of, Tom, every time I see this? I always look at the names of those that are competing in Q School. That's where the real pressure is. I mean, this is insane, right? This is your livelihood. This is your chance, or call it a day. And if you go down the leaderboard when that is being played, you'll see like no fewer than 7 to 10 guys that were on the tour that have just fallen off. That you're like, oh my God, tough times. It's at the Q School. Neesmith is at the Q School.
Doug Gim?
No, Gim. There's Gim season. Gim does well enough on the tour at the beginning of the year that you don't have to worry about Doug Gim. But Neesmith is there. Doc Redman, remember him? He's there. Everybody thought he was. You know who's in the Q School? Lanto Griffin.
Oh, I would have tried to guess, and I wouldn't have gotten that one.
Lanto Griffin's in Q School. I'm trying to find others that we'd be like, oh my God, he's in there. So is Sung Moon Bay. There was a stretch where I'd put some money on Sung Moon.
Trying to think of obscure golfers from 5 to 6 years ago that might be
still in there working their ass off.
Like, what happened to Brandon Grace?
Scott Piercy. Remember him?
Yeah, sure I do.
He's out there.
How about Pearson Cootie?
No, Cootie did well enough.
Okay.
He's hanging out. The Cootie brothers are both.
Oh, there's another one?
Yeah.
A couple of Cooties.
Oh, golly, Garrick Higo. Sean O'Hare, it's finally happened.
Oh, Sean O'Hare.
Poor Sean O'Hare.
How about Charles Howell III?
Ches Reavy.
He's
in Q School.
Wow.
And he's not kicking ass. Ches's game has gone south. There's got to be some more. Sorry, this is terrible. But I'm struck by this. It blows me away. Man, there are guys that what happened when I was doing all the college golf covering, there were guys that were can't miss, dudes that dominated their teams or their leagues. And then they, you're like, whatever happened to him? Oh, didn't make it. Golf is hard, cruel. I posted a video of the machine that tests the clubs. I could listen to that next to my bedside as I go to bed.
Is your white noise?
It's unreal because every swing is perfect. So it is the center of the club face, perfectly swung, and you can listen to it all. That should be my alarm.
It's like watching me play Halo.
But when you watch it, you go, oh, I'm just going to watch this machine hit a ball perfectly for hours over and over and over again. And then you crank the sound. It's just whoosh, whoosh. Oh, you're like, oh, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. I kid you not, over a cup of coffee this morning, I must have watched it for 30 minutes straight. Just watching this thing test drivers, test irons. It's a full swing. It's perfectly on plane.
You're gonna watch that? You're gonna watch TGL?
Whoosh, whoosh.
You gonna watch TGL on Monday?
Is that the indoor league?
Mm-hmm.
Tiger and our guy?
Yeah.
Rory?
It's interesting.
I think I will.
Have you seen the setup?
I haven't seen the setup.
So it's about a football field sized complex where they've got immersive 4K television screens, video screens, not television, for the simulators. Then they have a green complex that they've built, and they can rotate it to create different hole locations and possibilities. But if you're in the rough, they've got a set-aside area of turf where the ball's going to be dropped. You got to hit it out of the rough. If you're in sand, same thing.
Same thing?
Yeah. They're really trying. Like, they're giving it an effort. I thought that this thing was never going to get off the ground because they delayed it for a full year. I thought that was just going to be the end of it. Kind of like the American Football League or the XFL. Like,
yeah.
We're going to be back next year. And we're not. But they're giving it a go.
I'll watch. You will too. You just want to see guys swing the club. I mean,
I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah, you'll watch and see if it's entertaining or not. I'll watch it as well. But I could watch that machine hit a damn golf ball perfectly every single time. I actually really believe that, and I've thought this for a long time. You know how we all go see, we for those that golf or don't golf, you probably not interested in this, but when you watch the swings, your favorite swings, Adam Scott's swing, whatever, Freddie Couples' swing, Ernie Els' swing. Have you ever noticed that if you watch them swing a golf club a bunch of times in a row, and then you yourself swing a golf club, you can come pretty close to emulating it for a moment. But it's like once you get on the course, swing 15, it's all gone. Because you're not constantly watching that as you play. Yeah. But if you're just sitting there at the range watching those videos and then you hit, you can. It'll be the same tempo. It'll be really nice, right? You're like, oh, there it is. But by hole 3, it's gone. Well, when you watch these machines that they have these robots hit these clubs to test golf balls, to test equipment, you kind of get in the same sort of rhythm. You're like, oh, well, that's where my hand should be. Wherever that machine's wrist is, that's where I should be. Let's get to that spot. Well, haven't you thought over the years that when you go to a club pro to take lessons, it could be a lot easier if you had a device that you put your arms in and they set the, it was a contraption
that forces your body.
That forces your body into the positions that you need to be in. And so, like, you could check at the backswing. You would know where you were supposed. You could pause the machine, and then create the muscle memory that way, because it would be repeated, but it would be right over and over and over and over again.
You would need to sign a very long waiver form for that.
And I would sign it.
Some people would try it, and they would snap in two.
Yeah, screw them. I mean, that's the way it works. Right. I mean, let's go. I mean, I would do that. I would stick your hands in the machine, Tom. Have it pull you back to where you need to be. Pause. We're just going to do this for hours. You'd be exhausted. It would work.
Yeah.
And then,
it's the golf version of those ab stimulator machines.
But then you can have it to where, okay, now we bring the downswing. Here we go. We're going to stop it when we're at the halfway point when you're tucking your elbow. Here we go.
Yeah.
Over and over. And then now we do the full swing for however long you pay for. I don't know. And now we've got the full swing. That's your swing, man. Do that. Do that. If they put you in the right position over and over and over and over again, you would get it. I don't know how that hasn't happened.
Maybe you should patent that.
I can't build things. I can have somebody
Patent
build the
idea.
machine.
This is the thing. With this thing and it does that
This
thing.
is the thing. And I
Slap
think
me a patent.
I'm telling you, I can't believe that hasn't happened yet. They've had a lot of things that were close, but they haven't had the things that we need. There is not. Oh, anyhow, that was ISF solving for the future before we. T Lang, do we get the Champions League theme song? Do you have it?
I mean, we would lose. We would get zapped if I played it here. But yeah, I mean, we could come up with our theme songs for the draft. We'd have to come up with a sounder too when people, if we do go to extravagant locations, just a button you could hit.
The biggest part of the draft that we have to have, Tom, is that we have to have the ability to walk to the board, and there's good. If you want, I'll MC it.
Yeah,
I mean, like
you might be qualified.
On the clock. Whatever your team name is, Tom Wang, such and such. You're on the clock with pick number 4,
the Football Busters,
and then you have to walk up, hand the pick. I read aloud the pick, and then we hear the moans and groans in the room.
Yep.
Or the laughter.
Yeah, not with my picks.
What are you doing, Tom?
So the thing that I've got to work out is control over rookies and what you would forfeit in a dynasty type setting. How long can you keep them? What rounds do you lose your pick? I don't think I want to go full auction on the draft.
No,
I don't think I want.
I've never actually done it.
Yeah,
some people love auction.
They
drafts.
do. It scares me. I don't know.
We're riding out to Vegas with $20,000 in a briefcase so that we can have an auction draft. Oh, man, that's good. Final hour forthcoming. Stay with.
It's available on demand.